The Toronto Blue Jays had a good deadline, but now would be a better time than ever to go out and extend Vladimir Guerrero Jr., especially with the way that he's been playing. He's shown that he can carry this offense, and even though he doesn't have much help 1 through 9, he has been on an absolute tear, and he looks the best he's ever looked, even better than 2021. So we'll break that down and the importance of him going forward on this episode of Jays Digest. What's up, Jays fans? I'm your host, Peter Vryonis, alongside host Nick Gosse, and there was always a conversation surrounding Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Bichette. We were wondering if they were going to be able to keep both, should they keep both, and if they had to choose one, who should it be? Coming into the year, we were all probably leaning towards Bichette just because of his consistency over the past few years and the way that he impacted the Blue Jays winning. He willed them all the way to the playoffs in September of last year. And I think a lot of a lot of Blue Jay fans rather, were ready to sign up for that for the next decade plus. But now I think a lot of them have shifted their tune. And I was always in the Vladdy corner. I'm going to go out and say that. I don't know about you, Nick, but I think Vladdy is the one that needs to stay and the one that should stay between the two if they had to make that decision. If it were up to me, I'd keep both, but I think Vladdy is definitely the guy that you want to build your franchise around, and he said all the right things. He wants to remain in Toronto. He said he wants to be a Blue Jay for life. Those are his exact words. But the Blue Jays have yet to get a deal done on that front, and it's getting pretty dicey right now. He's a year ish away from free agency. He'll be a free agent at the end of next season. And Nick, there's still no deal in place, and a lot of Blue Jay fans are starting to get worried, especially with the way that he's playing lately. He probably earned himself a lot of money over the past couple of
Yeah,
months.
his price is going up every day. And we also have a bit of an update on it from Ross Atkins. But let's just dive into what he's been doing before we get into what Ross Atkins had to say post trade deadline, as well as some new reports about that. But Peter, you mentioned it. So during his 16-game hit streak, he has a 518 average with 17 extra base hits, almost a 1800 OPS, 18 RBIs. This is the best he's looked ever, I would say. The best stretch of his career. And that's saying a lot because in 2021, he was the best hitter in baseball. But I don't know. He is driving his price up. An extension needs to get done. And in a very bleak season, this has been the biggest important thing that's happened for the Toronto Blue Jays. Now, does it hurt them in the sense of he's going to want more money? Absolutely. You rewind it in a bigger scale. Since April 28th, he has a 349 average with a 1,000 OPS, a 180 WRC plus. He's been doing it for a while. And now we just need him to, I guess continue to do it, but
Yeah.
the Jays need to lock him in. And Ross Atkins had a bit of a scary thing to say about it, but I'll digress for a second. He's the best hitter in baseball right now, alongside Aaron Judge.
Yeah, well, he's not going to sign an extension now. It
Nope.
just doesn't make sense. Like it's not going to be feasible in the middle of the season here. And yeah, his price is driving up, and I understand that he's probably going to get the largest contract in Blue Jays history if they work out a deal. It's not going to be hard for him to do because he's 25 years old and in the prime of his career, and he's one of the best players in baseball when he is swinging it like he is right now. So yeah, it's going to be expensive and it's going to cost the Jays a pretty penny, but it's not going to be upwards of $300 million. I just can't see it being that high. And I get it. Like there have been players that didn't deserve $300 million contracts that went out and got it anyways, but he's a first baseman. If we take a look at some of the other players like Trey Turner, Xander Bogaerts, they're middle infielders. They're guys that are considered to be all-around players. I think Vladdy is better than both of them. Don't get me wrong, but he's a first baseman, and there are first basemen around baseball that can give you similar production to what he's given you, like pretty consistently. So, like, let's say Christian Walker, for example, is not making $225 million or $250 million, but he's still an elite first baseman and puts up similar numbers to Vladdy year in, year out. Like maybe not as gaudy and eye-popping, but he's still a very good player, still an all-star, right? And I just don't think Vladdy is going to get that much money in free agency. I think we're blowing it way out of proportion. He's a great player, don't get me wrong, but he's a first baseman, and there are a lot of first basemen around baseball that can hit for power and maybe not do what he's doing, but give you similar production. And I think the Blue Jays just need to get it done. Money is not the issue here. I think they'll be able to afford it no matter what.
Yeah. The only thing is that Ross Atkins came out and said, well, that's basically what he had to say about it. He spoke about the Vlad and Bo extensions prior to the deadline, said it would take a lot on both sides for that to happen in the next offseason, and certainly if it doesn't, then we have the opportunity to do so in free agency or just before free agency. And obviously now, I don't know what your thoughts are on this comment, Peter. I'm not a huge fan of it. We've had reports coming out. We know that Vladdy said he doesn't want to leave the Blue Jays. We have reports come out basically saying that, the Jays are a bit hesitant, to give him tons of money because he's a first baseman, and that Jeff Passan basically said it's unlikely that he gets more than $300 million because he is a first baseman, and that the market for first basemen just isn't there. But it is Vladimir Guerrero Jr., the face of your franchise, and not only is he the face of your franchise, he sells a lot of jerseys for the Jays. So I think they need to get it done, even though I don't know, they seem a bit hesitant, and maybe it is because he's a first baseman, and maybe that's it.
Yeah, well, it shouldn't. Like, I would gladly give him the largest contract for a first baseman in Major League Baseball history. I don't know if you count Bryce Harper. He's signed as an
Yeah.
outfielder, but playing first base now. But you know what I mean. Like, I would definitely go the 275 route. I would do that. I would maybe go 300, but it just doesn't make sense to go higher than that. And he is 25 years old. Like, he's still got a lot of baseball left in him, and I think he's just scratching the surface. He had an MVP caliber season at 22 years old. He was the best hitter in baseball at 22 years old. Yeah, it's been a little bit downtrending since, but still, like, his down season is an 820 OPS with 32 home runs that he had in 2023 or in 2022. And then obviously last year I think was a blip on the radar, but he's showing again that he's one of the elite hitters in baseball, and he's going to finish with over 30 home runs this year. He's going to finish with an OPS over 900. He is on fire right now, and I just don't think it would be smart to let him explore other options, because once the Yankees come around, and once the Red Sox maybe come around, and the Dodgers, and whoever wants to go out and pay an exorbitant amount of money for Vladdy, I don't know if you have a chance if
Yeah.
you're the Blue Jays. So you got to try to get this done this offseason, work tirelessly day and night, and give him the biggest contract that the Blue Jays have ever given out. There's no doubt that he deserves it. He is the face of your franchise, like you said, Nick, and sells jerseys. He puts butts in seats, and he's a very important player to what they're trying to do. And maybe he's not the star that we thought he was going to be. Maybe he's not an MVP winner year in, year out, but he's still a really good player, and he's showing that with this latest stretch of play. And I think this version of Vladdy is a lot closer to the one that we'll see for the next 10 plus years, as opposed to the one that we saw last season.
Yeah, I think he can get back to the MVP caliber player. This season, he's approaching it. He obviously had a cold start, but he's only 25 years old now. I think that, like you said, I was about to say the exact same thing. I think this season is closer to what he is going to be going forward rather than last year's sub 800 OPS or even 2022. I think it'll be somewhere between 2022 and 2021, maybe. We've been saying that for a while, though. 850-ish OPS is probably where he's going to, his median.
And you'll sign up for that,
Yeah.
right? And you'll gladly take an 850 to a 900 OPS year in, year out. Maybe it's not the 1,000 that we saw in 2022,
Could be, but probably not.
but it could be. It could be. Maybe every now and then, like, you'll have a year where he just goes nuclear like he did that season. But I think a 900 OPS is pretty damn good, especially considering the way that offense is down around Major League Baseball.
Yeah, very, very down. Look at those peripherals. He's definitely not getting by with any fluke or luck. He's going.
No.
He has all the peripherals for that. But let us know in the comments what your thoughts are on this. Do you want to see them lock him up? And what are your thoughts on Ross Atkins' comments about potentially waiting to extend Vladdy? Let us know, and hopefully the Jays can take care of business today.